what is happening in the Italian election so far?
The point is, what's gonna happen?
Francesco, what is happening in the Italian election so far?
The point is, what's gonna happen? After Sunday, when we're gonna vote, there's gonna be like a huge unpredictable scenario, and so we have to check it out what's gonna happen in the next 5 weeks maybe, or 6 weeks, where there will be the parliament that's gonna come, and then we're gonna vote for the speaker of the Camera and then Senate.
And so far in the run-up of the election, have you seen, fake news was one of the most important and talked about topics, including, disinformation and potential foreign interference. Have we seen anything of that so far? We've partnered together, actually, our two teams for the last few weeks. What have we seen?
Okay, we haven't seen as much as we expected, like was completely different from the French election, for example, but we can't tell yet because, of course, we still got 2 days, so we don't know if anything will happen, but so far, nothing much happened. But we have to stay aware, because what's gonna happen in the next 6 weeks, that's where fake news may spread and may change the scenario, because as far as we just said, it's so unpredictable, anything can influence the new parliament.
And what should people be looking out for?
I think people should be really aware of MP or senators that are gonna change from one party to another. We should look at that, because anything that's gonna happen, it's gonna be linked to other influences, let's say like this way.
Questions from your side?
Yes, so why did you want to come to Italy?
Well, look, Italy is one of the most important allies in our transatlantic community, and so it was really important to make sure that after we've seen over the last 2 years so much disinformation and digital threats emerging in our democracies, that also we would take a closer look at what is happening here in Italy. We've seen, of course, the interference in the US election. We've seen the disinformation campaigns, as you mentioned just seconds ago, in the French elections and so forth. And so our presence here is really about teaming up with our friends, including yourself and your team, to make sure that we stay alert and vigilant, that we observe the information environment around elections and check the pulse whether there's anything spiking. And luckily, as you said, we haven't seen anything, but our presence here is to reaffirm that we have to work together in a sort of digital solidarity movement to increase our resilience and make our societies more robust and more alert about the danger of disinformation, so that facts can prevail and facts can continue being the foundation of our democratic societies.
Is there anything that's gonna scare you just after vote? Do you see anything happening? Do you imagine that something may happen?
What I'm worried about is, from what we've learned the last few days, is really that it's not the last few days, but the days after the election, when the power of the public is being handed over to the people to form the government. What decisions will be made and what the news cycles will look like around that process is really important for us to see whether the new government is going to be steered into one direction or another one. And I think that's where the public, even though it won't have the power to vote, but it will have the power to speak, should continue speaking up, making sure it holds those who are forming the government, no matter who they are, accountable.
Do you think anything like that happened anywhere else in other countries that you already saw? Is there anything that you can compare to what you expect happening in Italy?
I think that every single time we see one of these elections is a little bit different.
Okay.
But we've seen in the past, of course, in France, for example, the famous Macron leaks and the attempt to undermine the credibility of then candidate Macron, now the president, in his agenda. We've also seen not too much of an interference in the German election, but we've seen an attempt to amplify extreme parties in Germany. You might remember the final hours of the election, and then in the negotiation processes, there were quite a few controversial information campaigns that are unfolding. And so we're watching out for that, but also we are keeping our eyes open for anything that's new, because just like technology, the digital space is involving it too, and so are the methods by which people try to interfere and undermine democracy.
Thank you.
Thank you.